What is going on, Dragon Brawlers? Scott Sedman back again with another starter deck breakdown. This time we're talking about FSO2 Vegeta. That's right, Fusion World reveals are fully in swing now. Let's get straight into it with the leader. Okay, so 15k front. When attacking, draw a card. Standard affair. When your life is 4 or less, draw a card and flip over into Super Saiyan Vegeta. He's now got 20k. Still got that when attacking, draw a card. Activate main once per turn. If you have 7 or fewer cards in hand, he gains 15k power for the turn. Whoa, let's straight off ripping off the band-aid. Blue's gimmick, at least in the starter decks, is all about having 7 or less cards in hand. And it's such a unique design shift from Masters, so I think anyone coming from Masters is going to be a bit weirded out by Blue. But anyone from not Masters will understand why Blue's kind of been shifted. Blue's gimmick got shifted to green, and then Blue's got a new gimmick entirely, at least in the starter decks. But that's not neither here nor there. Becoming a 35k swing. Oh, that's spicy for nothing, right? You don't have to discard nothing. And basically, if you have 7 cards in hand, you activate main, you get a 5, go to 35, and then you can swing to draw into 8. You still have that power boost. It's not conditional. It's activate main once per turn, do this effect if you have that, then you've got that power for the turn. I really love this effect. Don't sleep on this. I think, honestly, my favorite of the decks is this deck, so you'll probably hear me be more favoritable towards it. But yeah, I think this is solid. It can really put the boots to Broly, which is something we'll talk about when we get to the green deck breakdown. But yeah, honestly, a really cool leader. I'm very excited for it. And yeah, let's get into the skillless cards. So yes, I know there's some red cards. So we only have high quality images of the Goten and the Gotenks. But all of the decks have the 1 to 4 skillless curve, which is 1 energy 15k, 2 energy 20k, 3 energy 25k, 4 energy 30k. Green again has some slight differences, but we'll talk about it when we get to the green breakdown. But yes, this generally speaking is what you'll see as your skillless breakdown in the deck. So they're all representative of the curve. On to the super combo. As I mentioned in the red breakdown video, so if you want to go and check that out, I'm sure it'll be linked somewhere. Super combos are a cornerstone of any deck that you build. You can only have that 4 cards with super combo in your deck, so you can't put 4 Videls in there and then 4 of another blue super combo in your deck. You can only have 4 across the 2. You could do 2-2 if you want, but as long as there's only 4 cards with super combo in your deck, and you will have 4 cards with super combo in your deck, they're just too good not to run. So in your opponent's turn, when you use this from your hand as in the combo, it gains an additional 10k. It becomes a 20k combo that can out most attacks in the game if you're a 20k leader. Granted, there are some boss monsters and high-end cards and like that you won't get out of, but generally speaking, these are lifesavers. They're very good, and they're not restricted to any life requirement. You could just use them. You could use them turn 1 if you wanted, if your opponent gets super aggressive and tries to hit you with something crazy. Really good. Also, on the note of Videl, I love her in this outfit. I hope we get Super Saiyan Videl cards where her hair glows yellow. I know she's not really a Super Saiyan. It's the Bible inside her. It's Pan. But yeah, one of my favorite designs of any Dragon Ball character. Love her. Let's get on to the extra cards. So I was a bit mid on the red extra cards. I definitely are mid on the blue extra cards. So let's talk about Gallic Good. Similar sort of premise here to the Kamehameha. Activate battle, choose your leader or a battle card. It gains 15k power for the battle. Then, if you have 7 or less cards in hand, draw a card. Replaces itself. Oh, it's so good. If you have 8 cards in hand, when you use this, you would technically go down to 7. I believe that's how it'll be ruled. If not, just use it when you have 7 cards in hand. It replaces itself. You're golden. And also, you know what? Say what you want about the artwork. I'm loving the artwork on both of these cards. I just wish we had like full border breaks of them. Maybe we'll get them. Maybe we'll get them. And then on to Final Flash, my favourite card in the game thus far. It is a 2-drop with 1 specified blue. However, if you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, reduce this cost in your hand by 1, so making it 1 blue energy. Activate main, discard 1 card from your hand, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with a cost of 5 or less and bottom deck it. So basically, it will remove, well, it spins anything in the game bar maybe 1 card we've seen right now. That's pretty impressive, and we'll get onto why it's going to be amazing when we get onto our mid-range cards, mid-game cards. Because honestly, this card is super scary, and I can see it being used going forward in just general play as well. So the early game, we have Blocker Bulma. So Blocker we haven't had a chance to talk about yet. Basically, if your opponent declares an attack, you can switch it to rest mode, and then she's now the attack target. It's really good against cards like Critical and Double Strike. It takes them out of the way. Your opponent's probably going to try and remove it anyway. She's only 5k. She does have 10k combo though, so she might be worth just keeping in hand to combo. But still really cool. And just like Master Roshi, we do have a cantrip, a 1-drop, draw a card on play. Nothing to write home about with this Trunks. It is just helping to filter through the deck if you need it. What I will talk about, and I am really, really excited the more I think about him, is Sun Goten. He is a 2-drop 15k. When attacking, add up to 1 card from your life to your hand. So again, it's optional. You don't have to take the life. But as I mentioned in the previous video, if your opponent's stalling you out, this is a great way to help get into that awaken zone. If you have 7 or fewer cards in hand, so even if you had 0, by the way, you still get the second part of the effect. You choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with a cost of 2 or less and return it to the owner's hand. Now you might be like, Scott, that's not that great. It's only 2 costs or less. But within the starter deck meta, right, we have an event at the battle hour for the starter decks. It's going to be really fun. I hope to see you all there. By the way, join the Discord in the linked below, because we're going to be talking about all of the cool things you can do with these decks in that Discord. Yeah, bouncing 2 costs is actually really relevant, because a lot of the blockers that we've seen are 2 or less. So if you can get rid of those by just swinging, maybe Self-Awakening, and then bouncing something, it's worth it. Like you don't even have to swing into Leader for this effect. You could swing into a rested battle card to bounce something to hand. Don't sleep on Beyblade Gohan. That's what I'm calling him. I know Beyblade Spin and bouncing to hand is bouncing to hand. It works in my head. Leave me be. Then we have the other side of the dynamic duo. It is Trunks. Both of these cards are 10k combo as well, so you know they're really good in hand. Permanent, your turn. If you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, it gets 10k power. It becomes 25k. It can hit Broly. It's good. Also, on play, you can gain a life to your hand. Again, optional. You don't have to do it, but it's really good if you're being stalled out. Oh, I love Trunks so much. It's so good. And we also have a way to recur him, which we'll talk about later. This deck is great. It's firing on all cylinders. And now we go to the mid-game, where we can talk about some very spicy cards. Indeed, we have the Namekian God Piccolo. He is 20k power with a free cost, with 1 specified blue. On play, if you have 7 or less cards in hand, add up to 1 extra card from your drop. That's right. You don't have to worry about the cost. You add back Final Flash, most likely. It's just so good. Essentially, this is an additional extra card that can swing into Awakened Leaders. I don't know what more to say about this Piccolo other than I love it so much. It's gonna be, I think it's gonna be an MVP going forward in general, right? Just being able to get back extra cards. I really love him. But then we move on to Sun Gohan Adolescence. Oh, now this card. Ooh, 7 or less cards in hand, similar to the Trunks. You get 15k power, becomes 35k. This guy can go toe to toe with the likes of boss monsters. That's huge in and of itself. For less energy, it can go toe to toe with boss monsters. It's going to be an annoying attack to deal with. Granted, it's not got anything like critical or double strike, But if you're getting to that late game pressure where your opponent doesn't want to be taking damage, this guy is absolutely horrible to deal with. You've got the Goten there to remove blockers. Then you just go in with Gohan to put in those, like, you're going to have to combo it. And you're going to have to combo a little bit. At least 2 cards, I think, is the minimum to combo out of 35k. Unless you're using the extra card that gives you power. But still, then you force them to use energy, which is huge. Honestly, yeah, just Gohan and Piccolo, amazing mid-range cards. They can do a lot. And honestly, I can see Piccolo just being an MVP going forward, honestly. And then, yeah, the boss monsters. Those were the boss monsters, funnily enough. Let's talk about Gotenks. So, 25k. Hitting the bar of being able to hit Broly, which is always nice. For 4 energy, 2 specified blue. So, technically, you can come out to M3 if you really want. On play, 7 or less cards in hand. Add up to 1 Goten and 1 Trunks U, both with 2 or less from your hand. So, not only do you get back a Trunks that can cantrip, which is fine, but I would probably go for the 2 drops that are 10k combo, right? Because even if you don't play them, they're 10k combos that you can recur. You play them early enough, you get rid of them, it's whatever, you know they're coming back to your hand. Like, honestly, this doesn't need keywords or anything like that. Like, this is just get back 20k combo to your hand, in my opinion. Even and again, like, if your opponent's stalling you out, it gets back that Trunks that helps you self-awaken. Lots of cool stuff going on here. And yeah, as I said, you can swing into Awakened Broly, no problem, no resources required. And then Daddy Vegeta, let's talk about him. So he is a 5-cost, 2 blue energy, specified, 35k power, double strike. It's nice, he's going to end out your games. On play, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with a cost 4 or less and place it at the bottom of the deck. He will spin anything that's not the 5-cost boss monsters. That's awesome. That is awesome. And it just goes to show you how cracked Final Flash actually is as a card. That you're paying 1 energy for Final Flash. Yes, you have to discard a card, but again, you can discard a Trunks or Goten that you know you can add back to hand. Or you can discard another extra card that you're going to get Piccolo back with. No, you're adding Final Flash with Piccolo. You're just going to add Final Flash with Piccolo. But yeah, like, this guy spins a 4-cost, which is basically any non-5 drop threat or higher. We've only seen one thing that's higher than 5. So, you know, the targets for this are many. And the fact that he can hit a double strike is nice. Yeah, so I don't know if I've sold this deck to you guys or not. But it's very strong. I'm really, really happy with how it's coming out. Like, once we can mix 2 of these together and just build, I think it's going to be awesome. But I think even going into that starter deck tournament, I think this is probably the deck to beat. As much as Frieza's great, and we'll talk about him another time, I think this is the deck to beat, honestly. It just has kind of everything you want in early formats when you want to control the board. So yeah, I've been Scott Sermon. Do you have a favourite card from this? Do you prefer the red or blue deck? We're going to be talking about Green Broly next, so Super Saiyan, smash that subscribe button for that. And if you found this video useful or you've enjoyed it, please do leave a like. It helps a lot. Fusion World is going to be so much fun when the digital stuff comes out. I'm going to try and have a streaming schedule where I can just talk and play Dragon Ball with everybody. We're still going to be covering Masters as well. So if you like to learn why we think certain things before they're announced are because of just how things are done in Masters, it's a good way to learn from that. And yeah, I will see you next time. I've been Scott Sedman. You can follow me on Twitter at Scott Sedman. Bye.